Every one of you has something unique and valuable. Humans have emotional bonds that create unbreakable families. Zelhari have logical thinking that can solve any problem. Andromedans have precision that creates perfect systems. The energy beings have perspectives that span dimensions. The hive minds have cooperation that achieves impossible goals. But none of you are complete alone. You need each other, not to become the same, but to become better versions of yourselves. My existence proves that evolution is not about one species becoming dominant. It is about all conscious beings learning to work together. I am not the future. We are the future. All of us united by understanding and love. The response was unprecedented. For the first time in galactic history, the Universal Congress voted unanimously to establish the alliance of conscious beings, dedicated to cooperation and mutual understanding between all intelligent species. Elder Vexna, now serving as the first Zelhari ambassador of emotional sciences, approached Hope after her speech. You have achieved something remarkable, young one. You have taught the galaxy to love. Hope hugged the crystalline being, something no Zelhari had ever experienced before their encounter with humans. I didn't teach anyone to love, Elder Vexna. I just helped them remember that they already knew how. Years later, as Hope grew into a remarkable young woman who served as the galaxy's first interspecies consciousness coordinator, Captain Williams made the final entry in the Aurora's Dawn's mission log. Personal note: when we first encountered the Zelhari, we thought we were making contact with an advanced alien civilization. We had no idea we were beginning a transformation that would change every species in the galaxy. Humanity's greatest contribution to the universe was not our technology, our fighting spirit, or our exploration abilities. It was our capacity for love and the biological systems that created human reproduction, which seemed primitive and inefficient to other species, turned out to be sophisticated evolutionary technology for building emotional bonds and creating stronger societies. One curious alien's experiment in human biology has become the foundation for a new era of galactic civilization, an era based not on conquest or competition, but on connection and cooperation. The child who resulted from that experiment has taught us all that consciousness is not about being superior to others. It is about caring enough to understand them. Mission complete. Course set for home. But home now means something much bigger than Earth. Home is anywhere conscious beings choose to build bridges instead of walls. And somewhere in the ship's family quarters, Hope smiled as she felt the emotional connections spreading across the galaxy like ripples in a pond, touching every world and every species with the simple but revolutionary idea that love makes everyone stronger. Her mother's curiosity about human reproduction had indeed produced an outcome no one was ready for: a galaxy learning to love. 6 months after Hope's birth, the Aurora's Dawn had become the most important ship in the galaxy. Representatives from dozens of species came to study the remarkable hybrid child, who was changing everything anyone thought they knew about consciousness. And Evolution. Hope had grown rapidly, now appearing to be about 3 years old, despite her young age. She could walk, run, and communicate with the complexity of an adult, but she retained the wonder and curiosity of a child. "Daddy, why are the Andromedans scared of emotions?" Hope asked Ryan as they watched a delegation of the robot-like aliens examine her from a distance. "They think emotions make beings unpredictable and dangerous," Ryan explained. Hope tilted her head thoughtfully. "But emotions help predict behavior. When someone loves their family, you can predict they will protect them. When someone fears something, you can predict they will avoid it. Emotions make behavior more predictable, not less." Ryan smiled at his daughter's wisdom. Even at her young age, Hope understood concepts that had puzzled philosophers for centuries. Elder Vexna approached them, his crystal body now displaying colors that had never been seen in Zelhari before. Since experiencing emotions for the first time, he had become Hope's most devoted student. "Young Hope, the Galactic Council wishes to speak with you," he said. "Do they want to study me like a specimen, or learn from me like a teacher?" Hope asked. Directly. Vexna's crystal formation flickered with what could only be described as amusement. "I believe they are beginning to understand the difference." The Galactic Council meeting was held aboard the Aurora's Dawn, with representatives from 12 different species attending. Hope sat between her parents, looking tiny compared to the various alien delegates. Supreme Chancellor Zorth, a towering, insectoid being, spoke first. "Young hybrid, your existence challenges our understanding of evolution and consciousness. What is your purpose?" Hope stood up on her chair so everyone could see her better. "My purpose is to show that different ways of thinking can work together instead of fighting each other." "Elaborate," demanded Prime Counselor Zek-9, an artificial intelligence from the machine worlds. "Every species thinks their way is best," Hope explained patiently. "Humans think emotions are most important. Zelhari think logic is best. Andromedans think mechanical precision is superior. But you're all only seeing part of the picture." She gestured to the assembled delegates. "Humans have strong family bonds that make them brave and loyal. But sometimes their emotions make them act without thinking. Zelhari have incredible logical abilities and can solve complex problems. But they cannot form the connections that make societies strong. Machines can process information perfectly, but cannot understand why life has value. And you can do all these things?" ASKED Ambassador Trill, a being made of pure energy. "I can understand all these things," Hope corrected. "I feel emotions like humans, which helps me care about others and understand what motivates them. I think logically like Zelhari, which helps me solve problems and make good decisions. And I can process information quickly because my brain has parts from both species." Elder Vexna stood up. "Before Hope was born, I lived for 3,000 years without ever caring about another being. I thought this made me superior. Now I understand it made me incomplete." "The child has infected you with human weakness," accused Counselor Drac from the warrior species of Korith. "No," Vexna replied firmly. "She has shown me Zelhari's strength I never knew existed. When I care about something, I fight harder to protect it. When I love someone, I think more clearly about their needs. Emotions do not replace logic. They give logic purpose." Hope nodded approvingly. "Counselor Drac, your people are brave warriors. Because you love your home world. Love makes you strong, not weak. The massive reptilian warrior considered this. We fight to protect our families and territory. Is this love? Yes, the strongest warriors in the galaxy fight for love, not for conquest." Dr. Martinez, who had been documenting everything, stood to address the council. "Hope represents something unprecedented. She's not just a hybrid of two species. She's an evolutionary leap that shows how consciousness can develop beyond current limitations. What do you propose we do with this knowledge?" Asked Chancellor Exo Arth. Hope answered for herself. "Start learning from each other instead of fearing each other. Humans can teach other species about emotional bonds and family connections. Zelhari can teach about logical thinking and problem solving. Every species has something valuable to offer. But how do we overcome millions of years of separate evolution?" Asked Prime Counselor Zeke-9. "The same way my parents did," Hope said simply, "with curiosity, patience, and love." Zaraka spoke up from her seat. "When I first became curious about human reproduction, I thought I was just studying an inefficient biological process. I didn't understand that I was learning about the foundation of human strength." Ryan nodded. "And I thought I was just helping with a scientific experiment. I didn't realize I was about to fall in love with someone who would change my entire understanding of what it means to be alive. Love is not just a human emotion, Hope explained to the council. It is the force that connects all conscious beings. Every species experiences some form of it, even if they call it by different names. Loyalty, dedication, protective instinct, pack bonding, hive unity. These are all forms of love. The delegates murmured among themselves in various languages. And communication methods. Chancellor Zorth spoke again. Young Hope, you suggest that emotional connection is a universal trait among conscious species? Yes, consciousness itself requires caring about existence. You cannot be truly aware without valuing something. The problem is that most species only care about their own kind. How do we change this? Asked Ambassador Trill. Hope smiled, an expression that somehow conveyed both human warmth and Zelhari wisdom. Start small. Learn about one other species. Make one friend from a different world. Understand one new way of thinking. Change happens one connection at a time. Over the following months, Hope's influence spread throughout the galaxy. The Zelhari established the first Institute for Emotional Development, where young Zelhari could learn to recognize and value their feelings. Human universities began teaching Zelhari logic and meditation techniques. The Andromedans started experimenting with emotional programming for their artificial citizens. Hope herself became an ambassador, traveling with her parents to different worlds and helping various species understand each other. Her unique ability to translate between emotional and logical thinking made her invaluable as a mediator. She's building bridges everywhere she goes, Captain Williams observed as they prepared to visit the machine worlds. On each world they visited, Hope would demonstrate the same basic principle, that different ways of thinking were not competitors, but partners. She showed warrior species how love made them stronger fighters. She taught trading civilizations how emotional bonds created more trustworthy business relationships. She helped scientific species understand that caring about their research subjects led to better discoveries. But Hope's greatest achievement came when she addressed the Universal Congress, the largest gathering of intelligent species in galactic history, standing before representatives of over 100 different civilizations. The young hybrid child spoke with the wisdom of someone far beyond her years. My mother was curious about how humans create babies. She thought she was studying biology, but she was really learning about love. And love is what makes any species truly strong. The medical bay filled with both human and Zelhari technology as Dr. Martinez prepared for the most unusual birth in galactic history. Zaraka lay on the medical table, her body flickering between human and crystal forms as labor began. Contractions are starting, Amy announced, monitoring the scanners. But the readings are unlike anything I've seen. Ryan held Zaraka's hand as she breathed through the pain. Her grip was incredibly strong, and small crystal formations appeared and disappeared along her arms with each contraction. The baby is communicating, Zaraka gasped. She's telling me when each contraction will come. Elder Vexna and two other Zelhari stood nearby with their advanced medical equipment. Despite their disapproval of the pregnancy, they couldn't resist studying this unprecedented event. Zelhari births require no medical assistance, Elder Vexna observed. The new being simply forms and becomes independent immediately. Human births are different, Dr. Martinez explained while checking Zaraka's condition. They're dangerous and require help. But the emotional bonding during birth creates strong family connections. Suddenly, alarms began beeping on all the medical equipment. Zaraka's vital signs were becoming unstable. Her body can't decide if it's human or Zelhari, Amy said urgently. The birth process is causing a biological crisis. Do something. Ryan shouted. Dr. Martinez worked frantically with both human and Zelhari medical tools. Her crystal formations are interfering with the human birth process, but we can't suppress them without killing her. That's when everyone heard the baby's telepathic voice, clearer and stronger than ever before. Help, Mother. Show you how. Follow my instructions. The baby is trying to guide us through the birth, Lisa realized in amazement. An unborn child cannot possess such knowledge. Elder Vexnar protested Dot, but the baby's mental voice continued with detailed medical instructions that somehow made perfect sense to both human and Zalhari minds. She explained how to balance Zaraka's conflicting biology during the delivery. Impossible, whispered Elder Tekra, who had arrived to witness the birth. This infant understands medical procedures that take Zalhari centuries to learn. Following the baby's telepathic guidance, Dr. Martinez and the Zalhari medics worked together to stabilize Zaraka. The birth became a cooperation between two species, with an unborn child directing the process. After 12 hours of labor, the baby finally emerged. The room fell silent as everyone stared at the newborn in wonder. She looked mostly human, with soft skin and delicate features, but faint crystal patterns traced along her spine, and her eyes glowed with a soft blue light. When she opened her mouth to cry, the sound resonated with both human emotion and Zalhari harmonic frequencies. She's beautiful, Ryan whispered, tears streaming down his face as Dr. Martinez placed the baby in his arms. Zaraka reached up weakly to touch her daughter's face. The moment skin contacted skin, the baby's telepathic voice filled everyone's minds. Hello, Mother. Hello, Father. Hello, everyone. The Zalhari council members stepped back in shock. No newborn had ever been capable of such complex communication. What is your name, little one? Zaraka asked softly. The baby's response surprised them all. Hope. My name is Hope. How does she know language? Ryan asked in amazement. She learned from listening to our thoughts during pregnancy, Zaraka realized. She absorbed knowledge from both human and Zalhari minds. Dr. Martinez ran her scanners over the newborn. Her brain structure is incredible. She has human emotional centers, but also Zalhari telepathic nodes. And her nervous system is more complex than either species. Elder Vexna approached cautiously. Child, can you hear my thoughts? Hope turned her glowing blue eyes toward him. Yes, Elder Vexna. You are afraid of what I represent. You are an abomination that should not exist. I am not an abomination, Hope replied calmly through telepathy. I am evolution. Over the following days, Hope displayed abilities that amazed everyone. She could communicate with humans through emotions and with Zalhari through telepathy. She seemed to understand concepts that neither species could grasp alone. When Captain Williams visited, Hope looked at him and said telepathically, You worry about your crew's safety. But safety comes from understanding, not fear. She's reading our emotions and responding to them, Jake realized. More than that, Zaraka said, holding her daughter close. She's helping us understand ourselves better. The baby's most remarkable ability became clear during feeding time. Hope could consume both human milk and Zalhari energy directly from light sources. She would nurse from Zaraka, while simultaneously absorbing starlight through the crystal formations along her spine. She truly is a hybrid of both species, Dr. Martinez noted. But she's not limited by the weaknesses of either. She combines our strengths. Elder Vexna watched the child with growing fascination. She experiences human emotions, but maintains Zalhari logical thinking. This should be impossible. Why impossible? Hope asked, looking directly at him. Emotion and logic are not opposites. They are partners. Explain this concept, Elder Vexna demanded. Hope's young mind projected complex thoughts to everyone present. Humans feel love, which makes them protect their families. This is logical behavior that ensures species survival. Zelhari think logically, but cannot form protective bonds. This limits their evolution. Emotions are weaknesses that cloud judgment, Elder Vexna insisted. No, Hope replied patiently. Emotions provide information that logic alone cannot process. Fear warns of danger. Love motivates protection. Joy rewards successful cooperation. Without emotions, Zelhari cannot truly understand the value of individual life. The adult Zelhari looked at each other in confusion. This infant was challenging thousands of years of their cultural beliefs. Ryan watched his daughter with pride and amazement. She's not just our child. She's a teacher for both our species. As days passed, Hope continued to grow and learn at an incredible rate. By 1 week old, she could sit up and communicate in complete sentences. By 2 weeks, she was walking and demonstrating problem-solving abilities that impressed even the Zelhari. But her most important gift was her ability to help others understand different perspectives. When humans and Zelhari disagreed, Hope could translate emotions into logic and logic into emotions, helping both sides find common ground. She's showing us how to work together, Zaraka observed as she watched Hope mediate a discussion between Dr. Martinez and Elder Tekra. The human doctor fears that Zelhari technology is too advanced for safe use, Hope explained to the Zelhari elder. The Zelhari elder believes human emotions make them unreliable partners. Both concerns are valid and can be addressed through patience and understanding. Elder Vexna had remained skeptical until Hope approached him directly. You are lonely, Elder Vexna, she said simply. Zelhari do not experience loneliness. You do. You have lived for thousands of years without forming connections with others. You have knowledge, but no one to share it with. No one who truly understands you. The elder's crystal body flickered with colors no one had seen before. How do you know this? Because I can feel your emotions, even though you try to suppress them. Zelhari have emotions. You have simply forgotten how to recognize them. Hope placed her small hand on Elder Vexna's crystal arm. Suddenly, the elder gasped as he felt something he had never experienced before, the warmth of emotional connection. What is this feeling? He whispered. Affection, Hope replied. You are capable of caring about others. All Zelhari are. You have simply been taught to ignore these feelings. Elder Vexna's entire worldview began to crumble and rebuild as he experienced emotions for the first time in his long life. If Zelhari can feel emotions, he said slowly, then everything we believe about ourselves is wrong. Not wrong, Hope corrected gently. Incomplete. You have developed wonderful logical abilities, but you stopped growing emotionally. Humans developed emotions, but sometimes let them override logic. Both species need what the other has. As Hope continued to grow and demonstrate her unique abilities, it became clear that she represented something unprecedented, a being who could bridge the gap between two completely different forms of consciousness. She's not just our daughter, Ryan told Zaraka as they watched Hope playing with both human and Zelhari children through video calls to their respective home worlds. She's the future of both our peoples. Zaraka smiled, feeling the full depth of human maternal love combined with Zelhari analytical satisfaction. Our experiment has succeeded beyond anything I imagined. But neither of them realized that Hope's influence was just beginning. The child who had been born from curiosity about human reproduction was about to transform the relationship between their species forever. 2 months after her night with Ryan, Zaraka sat in the medical bay staring at Dr. Martinez in shock. The scanner in Lisa's hand showed impossible results. You're pregnant, Lisa said softly. About 8 weeks along. Zaraka's human hands moved to her still flat stomach. But this was not supposed to happen so quickly. Human females do not always become pregnant from single mating events. Usually no, but your modified biology might be more fertile than normal human physiology, Lisa explained. We need to run more tests. Ryan entered the medical bay, his face pale. Lisa called me. Is it true? Zaraka nodded, unable to speak. The emotions flooding through her human brain felt overwhelming. Fear, excitement, confusion, and something else she was beginning to recognize as love. What do we do now? Ryan asked, sitting down heavily. We monitor the pregnancy carefully, Lisa said. This is completely uncharted territory. A hybrid pregnancy between human and Zelhari genetics has never happened before. Captain Williams arrived with Commander Thompson. I heard the news. How is this possible? Zaraka's modification made her genetically human, Amy explained. But her consciousness and some deeper biological patterns remain Zelhari. The baby is developing with characteristics from both species. Over the following weeks, the pregnancy proved unlike anything in human or Zelhari experience. The baby grew faster than human normal, but much slower than the rapid Zelhari formation process. Zaraka's body began changing in ways that confused everyone. Small crystal formations started appearing along her spine and shoulders. Her human skin took on a faint, glowing quality. Most surprisingly, her emotional range expanded far beyond what any Zelhari had ever experienced. I feel protective of this growing life inside me, Zaraka told Ryan one evening as they walked through the ship's observation deck. Is this normal? Very normal, Ryan said, putting his arm around her. That's maternal instinct, but it is so strong. Sometimes I feel like I would kill anyone who threatened our child. Ryan smiled. Now you're starting to understand human parents. But the pregnancy created complications none of them had expected. Zaraka's modified body required both human nutrients and Zelhari energy sources. She needed to spend hours each day in direct starlight to feed the crystal formations. Growing along her spine. Dr. Martinez worked constantly to understand the changes happening in Zaraka's body. The baby seems to be developing organs from both species, she told the group during a medical briefing. It has human lungs and heart, but also Zelhari energy processing nodes. Will it be able to survive? Ryan asked, holding Zaraka's hand. I don't know, Lisa admitted. We're learning as we go. The situation became more complicated when Elder Vexna arrived unexpectedly with 3 other Zelhari. Their crystal bodies glowed with anger as they materialized in the ship's transporter bay. Where is the abomination? Elder Vexna demanded. Captain Williams stepped forward. If you mean Zaraka, she's resting in medical bay. We have come to stop this madness before it spreads to other Zelhari. Zaraka entered the bay, her pregnant human form now showing small crystal growths along her arms. The other Zelhari stepped back in shock. Zaraka, what have you done to yourself? Elder Vexna asked. I have learned what it means to be truly alive, Zaraka replied calmly. You have contaminated yourself with primitive emotions. This pregnancy must be terminated immediately. Ryan stepped protectively in front of Zaraka. You're not touching her or the baby. Elder Vexna's crystal body flashed red. Human, you do not understand. This hybrid creature could destroy both our species if it survives. How? Zaraka asked. By teaching others to feel love? Love is weakness. It clouds judgment and creates irrational behavior. Does it? Zaraka moved her hands to her growing belly. Or does it create strength we never knew we possessed? During her 5th month of pregnancy, something unexpected happened. Zaraka was resting in her quarters when she felt the baby move for the first time. But instead of just physical movement, she sensed something else. A voice spoke in her mind. Not words, but pure communication. Mother. Zaraka gasped and called for Ryan. When he arrived, she grabbed his hand and placed it on her stomach. The baby just spoke to me, she whispered. Babies can't speak until after they're born, Ryan said gently. Not with words, with thoughts. She communicated directly with my mind. Dr. Martinez arrived with her scanners. Zara Ka were detecting unusual neural activity from the fetus. It appears the baby's brain is developing Zelhari telepathic abilities, along with human emotional centers. A baby that can think and feel like humans but communicate like Zelhari? Ryan asked in amazement. As the pregnancy progressed, the baby's mental communications became stronger. She seemed aware of everything happening around her. When Zaraka was happy, the baby projected feelings of joy. When Zaraka was worried, the baby sent comforting thoughts. She's trying to take care of. Zaraka told Ryan one night. Our child is protecting her mother from emotional pain. That's not possible, Ryan said. Unborn babies don't have that level of consciousness. But the evidence was clear. The baby was developing abilities neither species possessed alone. She could feel emotions like humans and communicate telepathically like Zelhari. Elder Vexnar returned with more Zelhari, including the Supreme Council. They demanded to examine Zaraka and her unborn child. This hybrid represents an evolutionary threat, Council Leader Prime Ka declared. It must be studied and contained. Our child is not a threat, Zaraka said firmly. She is a bridge between our peoples. You speak of our child as if you and the human are bonded for life, Prime Ka observed. We are, Zaraka replied without hesitation. I love Ryan, and he loves me. We will raise our daughter together. The Zelhari Council members exchanged shocked looks. No Zelhari had ever claimed to love another being before. Ryan stepped forward. Zaraka is right. This baby isn't a threat. She's proof that our species can work together. But during the 7th month, complications arose that threatened both mother and child. Zaraka's crystal formations began spreading faster, while her human organs struggled to support the hybrid pregnancy. Her body is trying to return to Zelhari form, Dr. Martinez explained to the worried group. But the human aspects are fighting to remain. The conflict could kill both her and the baby. Can we reverse the modification? Captain Williams asked. Not while she's pregnant. The shock would definitely kill the baby, and probably Zaraka too. Ryan spent every moment at Zaraka's bedside as her condition worsened. Her skin flickered between human flesh and crystal formations. Sometimes she looked completely human, other times partly Zelhari. I may not survive the birth, she whispered to Ryan during one of her more coherent moments. Don't say that. You're going to be fine, both of you. If something happens to me, promise you'll protect our daughter. Teach her about both her peoples. Nothing's going to happen to you, Ryan said, but fear filled his heart. The baby's mental communications became more urgent as Zaraka's condition deteriorated. She seemed to understand that her mother was in danger. During the 8th month, the baby sent her strongest message yet. Not to Zaraka this time, but to everyone around her. Ryan, Dr. Martinez, Captain Williams, and even the Zelhari Council members all heard the same telepathic voice. Help Mother. Save Mother. Mother needs help. Elder Vexna's crystal body turned pale blue with shock. The child spoke to us all simultaneously. Such power has never been recorded. She's trying to save her mother, Ryan realized. She knows Zaraka is in trouble. Dr. Martinez made a difficult decision. We need to deliver the baby early. It's the only way to save them both. But she's only 8 months along, Ryan protested. The baby is developing faster than human normal. She might be ready. As they prepared for the early delivery, none of them realized they were about to witness the birth of a being who would change the relationship between humans and Zelhari forever. A child who carried the best of both species and the power to bridge the gap between logic and emotion. The baby's telepathic voice reached out one more time, stronger than ever, ready to be born, ready to help. And in that moment, everyone present understood that this child was not just the product of an alien experiment. She was the next step in evolution for both their peoples. Zaraka stood in her small quarters aboard the Aurora's Dawn, staring at the strange device she had built. It looked like a helmet made of twisted crystal and metal wires. The biomodification unit could change her Zelhari body to match human biology for a short time. 3 days had passed since she first asked Dr. Martinez about experiencing human reproduction. The human doctor had tried to talk her out of it, but Zaraka's mind was made up. She needed to understand what made humans so different. She activated her communication device and contacted the Zelhari home world. Elder Tekra's face appeared in a shimmer of blue light. "Zaraka, you have been away too long," the elder said. "Return home immediately." "I request permission to conduct an experiment," Zaraka said. "I wish to temporarily modify my biology to study human reproduction." The crystal formations on Elder Tekra's head turned bright red with anger. "Absolutely forbidden. Such modification is dangerous and unnecessary." "But Elder, think of what we could learn. Humans have emotional bonds that make them stronger. If we could understand this, emotions are weaknesses, not strengths." Elder Tekra interrupted. "Return to Zeller Prime now." Zaraka ended the communication. She had expected this response. The Zelhari Council feared anything that might change their perfect, emotionless society. But Zaraka had already decided to proceed without permission. She placed the biomodification device on her head. Crystal formations along her body began to glow as the machine scanned her genetic structure. The device could rewrite her biology at the cellular level, but only temporarily. The changes would last about 6 months before her body returned to normal. "Computer, begin modification process," she said. Warning lights flashed around the device. "This procedure has not been tested on Zelhari physiology. Do you wish to continue?" "Yes." Pain shot through Zaraka's crystal body as the machine began its work. Her rigid crystal structure started to soften and change. Her tall, thin frame became shorter and more curved. Her glowing crystal skin turned into soft, warm human flesh. When the process finished, Zaraka looked at herself in the mirror. She now appeared to be a human woman with pale skin and long dark hair. But the biggest change was not visible. For the first time in her life, she could feel her heart beating. She could feel emotions stirring inside her mind. A knock came at her door. "Zaraka, are you okay?" Dr. Martinez called. "I heard strange noises." Zaraka opened the door. Lisa gasped when she saw the transformed alien. "My God, what have you done?" "I have become temporarily human," Zaraka said. Her voice now sounded completely human, too. "The modification will last 6 months." Lisa pulled out her medical scanner and ran it over Zaraka's new body. "This is incredible. Your readings are completely human. How is this possible?" "Zelhari biotechnology is very advanced. My genetic structure has been rewritten, but my consciousness remains unchanged. Zaraka, this is extremely dangerous. We need to tell Captain Williams immediately." They found Captain Williams and Dr. Foster in the ship's meeting room, reviewing star charts. Both men stared in shock when they saw Zaraka's human form. "What the hell happened to you?" Jake asked. "I have modified my biology to study human reproduction," Zaraka explained calmly. "I need a human male to mate with for my research." Ryan choked on his coffee. "Excuse me? I require a partner to experience the human reproductive process. Dr. Foster, you study human behavior. Will you assist with this experiment?" "Absolutely not," Ryan said, his face turning red. "That's completely inappropriate." "But this is for scientific research," Zaraka insisted. I must understand how human reproduction creates emotional bonds. Lisa put her hand on Zaraka's shoulder. Zaraka, you can't just ask someone to have sex with you for science. It doesn't work that way. Why not? Among Zelhari, reproduction is purely scientific. Because humans form emotional attachments, Jake explained. Sexual activity isn't just about making babies. It involves feelings and relationships. Zaraka looked confused. But I wish to study these feelings. How can I learn without experiencing them? For the next 2 days, the crew tried to convince Zaraka to reverse the modification and return to her normal form. But she refused to listen. She spent her time reading about human relationships and watching movies about romance. Ryan found her in the ship's library, surrounded by books about human sexuality and child development. Still studying? He asked, sitting down across from her. Human reproduction is far more complex than I realized, Zaraka said. There are so many variables. Emotional compatibility, physical attraction, timing, social customs. That's what makes us human, Ryan said. We don't just mate randomly. We choose partners we care about. Zaraka looked at him with her new human eyes. Do you care about anyone, Dr. Foster? Ryan felt uncomfortable under her direct gaze. I care about my friends and colleagues. But I've never found the right person to start a family with. Would you consider me? Zaraka, you're not actually human. This is just a temporary change. But my body is fully human now. I can experience everything a human woman can experience, including pregnancy. Ryan stood up quickly. This conversation is getting too personal. I think you should talk to Dr. Martinez. But Zaraka followed him. Dr. Foster, please consider my request. I am not asking for love or marriage. Only a scientific partnership to create offspring and study the process. Sex isn't just a scientific process for humans, Ryan said firmly. It involves emotions and intimacy. Then teach me about emotions and intimacy. Ryan stopped walking and turned to face her. You really don't understand, do you? No, I do not. That is why I must learn. Over the next week, Ryan found himself spending more time with Zaraka. She asked endless questions about human emotions, relationships, and social customs. Despite himself, he began to enjoy their conversations. Zaraka was brilliant and curious, and her outsider perspective made him think about humanity in new ways. Why do humans fear death so much? She asked one evening as they watched Earth movies together. Because we know our time is limited, Ryan explained. That makes life precious. Zelhari live for thousands of years. Perhaps that is why we do not value individual existence as much. Maybe that's why you don't form strong emotional bonds. When you have forever, nothing seems urgent. Zaraka nodded thoughtfully. Humans must form connections quickly because time is short. Your reproduction system creates instant bonds because you cannot afford to wait. Ryan realized she was beginning to understand something important about humanity. 1 month after her transformation, Zaraka approached Ryan again. Dr. Foster, I have studied human customs extensively. I understand now that sexual activity requires mutual attraction and emotional connection. That's right. I believe we have developed an emotional connection through our conversations. Ryan felt his heart race. Zaraka, I find myself attracted to you physically. Is this normal? Ryan looked at her beautiful human face and felt confused emotions stirring inside him. Yes, that's normal. Then will you consider my request? Not just for science, but because we have formed a bond? Ryan stared at her for a long moment. Somewhere, over the past month, he had stopped thinking of her as an alien conducting an experiment. She had become someone he cared about. If we do this, he said quietly, it changes everything between us. You understand that? Zaraka's new human heart began beating faster. I am beginning to understand many things I never expected to learn. That night, for the first time in her long life, Zaraka experienced physical intimacy and the flood of emotions that came with it. But she had no idea that this moment would change not just her understanding of humans, but the course of both. Their species forever dot as they lay together afterward. Zaraka felt something completely new growing inside her mind. Something the Zelhari had no word for, but humans called love. And she realized her experiment had already produced results she never could have predicted. Dr. Lisa Martinez stood at the window of the research ship Aurora's Dawn and looked down at the strange new planet below. The planet was called Kepler 442b, and it was nothing like Earth. Purple clouds swirled around tall crystal mountains that sparkled like diamonds in the alien sun. First contact in 30 minutes, Captain Jake Williams announced over the ship's speakers. Lisa felt her heart beat faster. After 20 years of searching space, humans had finally found intelligent alien life. The aliens called themselves the Zelhari. They looked like walking crystals, tall and thin, with bodies that changed color when they moved. Their leader, Elder Vexna, had agreed to meet with the humans on their ship. Lisa walked to the meeting room, where the other crew members waited. Dr. Ryan Foster, the anthropologist, checked his recording equipment one more time. Commander Amy Thompson, the ship's medical officer, reviewed her scanners. Everyone was nervous and excited. The Zelhari transport arrived exactly on time. It made no sound as it landed in the ship's bay. 3 crystal beings stepped out, their bodies glowing with soft blue light. Elder Vexna was the tallest, with deep purple crystal formations on his head. Behind him walked 2 younger Zelhari. "Welcome to our ship," Captain Williams said, bowing slightly as the aliens had requested. Elder Vexna's voice sounded like wind chimes when he spoke. "We thank you for this meeting. We are curious about your species." The younger Zelhari stepped forward. Her crystal body was smaller and brighter than the elders, shifting between blue and green colors. "I am Zaraka," she said. "I study life forms. Your biology is very different from ours." Lisa smiled. "I'm Dr. Lisa Martinez. I study alien life too. We have much to learn from each other." The meeting began well. Both species shared basic information about their worlds and cultures. The Zelhari were much older than humans, with technology. That seemed like magic. They could travel between stars easily and had explored thousands of planets. Zaraka seemed more interested in the humans themselves than their technology. She kept staring at the crew members with her bright crystal eyes. "How do you create new members of your species?" Zaraka asked suddenly. The humans looked at each other. Elder Vexna's crystal body flashed red with what seemed like embarrassment. "Zaraka asks too many personal questions," the elder said. "Please forgive her curiosity." "It's okay," Lisa said. "We reproduce sexually. A male and female join together to create offspring." Zaraka's crystal body brightened with excitement. "This joining process, how long does it take?" Ryan cleared his throat. "Well, the actual mating is brief, but creating a baby takes 9 months inside the female's body." Zaraka's crystals turned bright yellow. 9 months? This seems very inefficient. Zelhari reproduction takes only minutes. "How do your people reproduce?" Amy asked. Elder Vexna answered in his wind chime voice. 2 Zelhari stand near each other and create harmonic vibrations. The sound waves combine our genetic material. A new Zelhari forms within hours. "No physical contact?" Lisa asked. "Physical contact is not needed," Zaraka said. "No emotions are involved. It is simple and clean." The humans exchanged glances. Their reproduction seemed strange and complicated to the aliens. Just as the Zelhari method seemed cold to the humans, after the official meeting ended, Zaraka asked to stay longer. "I wish to learn more about human biology," she told Elder Vexna. Elder's crystal body flashed with annoyance. "Very well, but do not cause trouble." Over the next few days, Zaraka spent all her time with the human crew. She asked endless questions about everything from human food to human emotions. But she kept returning to questions about reproduction and families. Do humans enjoy the mating process? She asked Lisa one day in the medical bay. Lisa felt her face turn red. Yes, it's usually pleasurable for both partners. And the female carries the offspring inside her body? Yes, for 9 months. The baby grows slowly. Zaraka's crystals turned purple with confusion. This seems like suffering. Why would evolution create such a difficult system? It's not just about making babies, Ryan explained, joining the conversation. The long pregnancy and physical intimacy create emotional bonds between partners. Human parents love their children deeply because of this process. Love? Zaraka asked. This is the emotion you mentioned before. Zelhari don't experience love? Amy asked. We do not understand this concept, Zaraka admitted. Zelhari feel curiosity, satisfaction, and mild preference. But this love that makes you risk your lives for others, this is unknown to us. Lisa watched as Zaraka's crystal body shifted through different colors while she thought. Your reproduction creates emotional connections? Zaraka continued. Yes, Lisa said. Human families are bound together by love. Parents will die to protect their children. Partners stay together for life sometimes. Zaraka was quiet for a long moment. I have accessed your medical databases, she finally said. The human reproductive system is far more complex than ours. There are chemicals in your brains that change during mating and pregnancy. Hormones, Amy nodded. They help create the emotional bonds. Your biology creates artificial emotional states to ensure offspring survival, Zaraka said, as if solving a puzzle. They're not artificial, Ryan said firmly. The emotions are real. Love is real. Captain Williams found Zaraka in the ship's computer room late that night, reading through medical files about human reproduction and child development. Find anything interesting? He asked. Zaraka's crystal body pulsed with bright light. Your species fascinates me, Captain Williams. You are inefficient in almost every way, yet you have survived and spread across space. We're tougher then. We look, Jake said with a smile. It is not toughness, Zaraka said thoughtfully. It is something else. This love emotion makes you stronger as a group. You protect each other. You sacrifice for your offspring. Zelhari do not do this. Don't you care about your children? Zelhari young are independent immediately after formation. We provide knowledge, but no emotional connection exists. Jake felt sorry for the alien. That sounds lonely. Zaraka's crystals turned a soft blue color. I am beginning to understand this word lonely. I think I have always felt this way, but had no name for it. The next morning, Lisa found Zaraka staring out at the stars. Zaraka, are you all right? Dr. Martinez, I must ask you something important, the alien said. Is it possible for a non-human to experience human reproduction? Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. What do you mean? Could I modify my biology to become temporarily like a human female? To experience this process myself? Zaraka, that could be very dangerous. We don't know what it would do to your crystal biology. Zaraka's body brightened with determination. I must understand. Your species has something mine lacks. If I can experience human reproduction, perhaps I can learn what makes humans so strong. Lisa realized that the curious alien had become obsessed with something she couldn't understand. And that obsession was about to lead to consequences none of them could imagine.